do that. And I thought today I was going to try an experiment, and so I thought, hey, might as well try filming my video when I'm experimenting on myself. So here we go. First of all, what I'm going to try and do is this, and let me say right off the bat that this is not recommended by Dexcom. In fact, I'm not even going to necessarily recommend that you try this. I just read about something that a lady did in one of the Dexcom Facebook groups, and I thought I would give it a shot. Anyways, what she said that she does is that she inserts the Dexcom sensor about 24 hours before she is actually going to change sensors. Doesn't put the transmitter in, just injects the sensor, covers it, wraps it up so that it doesn't get disturbed, and then just lets it sit. And then when she is ready to change her sensor, she removes the old sensor with the transmitter connected, takes the transmitter off, cleans it, pops it into the sensor that she has already had in her arm, then does a start sensor session on that sensor, goes through the 2-hour warm-up, etc. And she said that her doing that had really helped a lot with the craziness that she sometimes gets from the first 24 hours of a new sensor. Even though you haven't done anything to it, it has spent the time under the skin, and so the sensor wire has gotten a little more acclimated. Any trauma to the skin as far as swelling and whatnot is kind of settled down by the time she actually starts a sensor session. And so she had found that it had increased her accuracy in the first 24 to 36 hours of a new sensor. So I thought, hey, I think I might want to try that. First of all, let me say it is not recommended by Dexcom. The reason being this: you are not supposed to have, for any length of time, a sensor in your skin without a transmitter connected to it. The reason for that being is the transmitter, when it's clipped into the sensor, holds the sensor wire, the little flap that has the sensor wire attached to it, it holds it in place, keeping the sensor wire attached to that little flap and not escaping anywhere. There have been some rare instances where people have had the sensor wire detach from the sensor and get kind of embedded in their skin, and where they needed some kind of surgical procedure to have that sensor wire removed from the skin. Of course, that's not a common thing. I have never seen it happen. I've only read about it a couple of times on Facebook groups. But again, there is a risk involved in doing this. For me, I am willing to take on that risk for a couple of reasons. First of all, I'm an adult, and so I am not intending, between now and when I actually clip in the sensor, the transmitter, to do anything outrageous exercise-wise, trauma-wise. I have a pretty mellow afternoon and evening planned, and then I'll go to bed and wake up tomorrow and put the new transmitter back in. Second of all, I wear my sensors exclusively in my upper arm. The place where I have read that there's been more of a medical concern about the sensor wire detaching has been when they wear the sensor in the belly, because it can sometimes make its way towards internal organs and whatnot. If it were to detach and get lost, my upper arm is a fairly safe place as far as, I don't have any organs that are going to get punctured or anything like that. So here's my intention. My intention is to put the sensor in my upper arm, cover the little flap. If you are familiar with Dexcom sensor insertions, there's a little flap that has the wire attached to it. It's got two little black dots on it, where the transmitter makes the connection with the sensor. I'm going to use like a Band-Aid to keep that sensor dots from getting disturbed, body oils, whatever. Keep it in place so it doesn't fall off or fall out. And then I'm thinking, I'm not sure how I'm going to wrap it. I may wrap it with vet wrap, or maybe cut a sock and put it, I don't know. I'm not really sure. Haven't done this before. So anyway, that's my goal, and let's get to it. All right, ta-da, I'm ready. Okay, so here are my must-haves. You must have one of these. I like to use skin tack. Some people swear by the liquid. I like the wipes because they're easy. And of course, alcohol swab for cleaning your skin prior to insertion. I went and looked for a Band-Aid to cover the flap on the Dexcom sensor and discovered that all the Band-Aids I have a antibacterial coating on the little gauze pad, and I didn't really want to try. I was concerned that maybe any kind of film or goop on the gauze pad getting on the contacts of the sensor might cause issues, so I decided to instead use a plain generic gauze pad, which I had a few of, and I cut a couple of strips of Opsite Flexifix to stick over the gauze pad to kind of make my homemade Band-Aid. Hopefully I don't regret this, because this stuff, if you need something to help hold your Dexcom sensors on, or an Omnipod or something like that, this stuff is really hard to get off. So I may regret having chosen this tomorrow when I decide to peel all this crap off and stick the transmitter in. So here we go. Step 1, alcohol swabs. And you know, they come in two, like my box comes in two, like stuck together like this. I kind of feel like I have to use both. I don't really like just tearing off one and using one, putting the other one back in the box. So I use two. Upper arm is where I put on my Dexcom sensors. So step 1, clean with the first alcohol swab. My skin tends to be kind of oily, so it really helps to use both alcohol swabs anyway. In fact, I showered this morning and I'm getting gunk off my skin with these alcohol swabs. I just have pretty oily skin, so for sanitary reasons, you know, just for protecting from infection, and also just to remove the body oil so that the Dexcom will stick longer. Again, if you're not familiar with the Dexcom, it is rated, now it's time for the skin tack wipe. It's rated for 7-day wear, but in practical use, many, if not most people wear them longer than 7 days at a time. I wear the Omnipod insulin pump, and so I wear my Dexcom sensor for 6 Omnipod site changes, which adds up to 18 days. I do the 6 on one side of the body, and then after I take that 6th one off, I swap and use the same sites on the other side of my body. I am scheduled for a change tomorrow. I've got my Omnipod on my thigh, which you cannot see from here, and I'm ready to switch tomorrow, so that's why I'm prepping my Dexcom stuff tonight. Letting my skin tack dry a little bit. They say on the skin tack to put it in a circle, leaving an empty space in the middle where you don't put any skin tack to put your sensor wire through. I don't always do that. If you were watching me put the skin tack on, I did this time leave a space, which I'm not even sure I can see anymore. So I have not really found any problems from inserting my Dexcom through skin tacked skin. So, you know, follow the rules, but if you don't, it's not the end of the world. Okay, so skin tack is supposed to dry until it's tacky. I'm gonna go ahead and stick the sensor on, and then I'm gonna have to do all kinds of interesting camera work because I'm by myself right now, and I have a hard time pinching up, and I must pinch up when I do my Dexcom sensors. These scrawny little arms, pinching up is required. So we'll stick it on, and then we'll see what happens next. Okay, so I kind of flattened out the adhesive. It always is kind of bent from being mashed in the package. Peel off the paper backing. And next, it's kind of cattywampus. All right, next step is to put it, and I'm going to try and get it where I had my little opening. Can you see? Oh yeah, you can, sort of. All right, so I've got it stuck on. And you just kind of smooth it down with your fingers. Since I wear these for 18 days at a time, I really don't like janky tape. So I kind of am really particular about carefully smoothing it down so that I don't have any issues with like where the tape has folded over or has a flap or something that really, really bugs me really bad. So I try really hard not to do that. Okay, I am going to see if I can figure out how I can both pinch up and film at the same time. All right, doesn't that look crazy? I forgot that I bought these hair clips for the purpose of functioning as a third hand to pinch up when I'm doing a sensor insertion by myself. Ha, doesn't that look nice? So we'll see how it goes. I've got the clip kind of pinching my arm. When I tried this, like when I tried to pinch my skin with one of these clips, like right after I bought them, couldn't get it to work. And I realized, oh, it's sticking really good now because I've got that skin tack all over my skin. So we'll see how it goes. So of course, have not removed this. We'll do it now that I'm about ready to insert. And you remember, you poke, can you see? Poke the plunger, pull up on the collar. We'll see how it goes. Ready, set, go. Ta-da! All right, now let's take that off. All right, doesn't look too bad. Next step, you kind of pinch in on either side and get this little sucker off. Ta-da! Don't know if you can see. There's a little bit of blood. Not too bad. Doesn't hurt. All right, here we go. Now let's try the gauze pad. We'll see how this works. Just gonna try and I've got it just laying flat over the sensor. And let's take the Flexifix tape. Oh, this is gonna be exciting. All right. Okay, I've got this side taped down. And let's see the other one. Peel off the paper backing first, and you'll see those little green grid lines. I'll peel that layer off in a minute. All right. I already showered today, and I won't shower again until after I've put the transmitter in. I don't know that I would try this trick if I was going to need to shower. I don't know that I'd feel comfortable with showering with a half-open sensor on me. Probably wouldn't hurt, but anyway. All right, so that looks a little sketchy, but I'm covered. Here we go. All right, so that's going to be the end of this for now. I will film a little more tomorrow when I'm ready for putting the transmitter in. I'm kind of, right now I'm initially thinking, I'm not sure how this is the little clip that you use to, once you've got the transmitter inserted in the sensor, you flip the end of this in and it helps get the transmitter clipped in on both sides. I'm not sure if that's going to drive me bananas. We'll find out. You guessed it, it's time for the thrilling conclusion to my Dexcom insertion experiment video. It's been about 24 hours since I filmed the last part of this video and inserted the Dexcom sensor on myself without the transmitter in it at the time. Put the transmitter in and started the session roughly about 5:30 this morning. So I've been running I've had a sensor session going since about 7:30 this morning, give or take. And so far, it's looking quite lovely. You'll see the gap is where I didn't have anything going on, and you'll see that the line is pretty smooth. About half the time when I start a new Dexcom sensor session, that first day is real jaggedy. Like you can see the trends of going up, going down, quickly, slowly, whatever. But from dot to dot to dot is jiggity jag, and this time I have not had that. It is much more like when I restart a sensor session, where I typically get smooth lines from the beginning. And so I'm kind of suspecting that it had a lot to do with the fact that the skin is just not as traumatized, because by the time I actually started the sensor session, it had been about, let's see, 17 hours since I had actually inserted the sensor, so it had given the skin time to calm down, settle down. So lunchtime, took my blood sugar, it was 123, I think it was, yeah, 123. And then Dexcom said 124 and angled down. So accuracy was stellar. You saw the photo that I posted that showed that the accuracy was right, well within normal limits. So I think it's been a pretty interesting experiment. So if you decide you would like to try it, hey, you know, tag me, comment, whatever, let me know. And if you're the one that posted that original idea, I think her name was Stephanie, let me know. I want to thank you and let you know that your trick worked awesome. So there you have it.